right, so I tried to do my recording earlier, but my sound was cutting in and out. So I'm going to go ahead and do it this way here. This is the assignment for solving system of inequalities, assignment number 1. We already did number 1 together, but I'm going to just go over number 1 so you guys can hear exactly what we did, since I'm not sure what you guys heard on the recording earlier. So for number 1, we went through and we wrote down m equals b equals, and then when you put it on your graph, first you plot b, the y-intercept. So for the first one, that's the y-intercept of -2, and then you use your slope m, it's -1, so you go down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, that's everything in red. That's our first one. And then when you draw your line, you want to check the inequality symbol. For this one, it's less than or equal to, so there's extra ink for the sign. So you have extra ink for the line, so it's a solid line with shading below. So that's everything in red. The one in blue, again, we wrote m equals b equals, plotting the y-intercept of +2, and then using your slope -5/1, so it's down 5 to the right 1. And for your line, it's greater than or equal to, so you have extra ink for the sign, so you need extra ink for the line. So you do a solid line with shading above, so that's everything in blue. And then to find exactly where your solution is, that's going to be where you have both colors, the red and the blue, or where you have the shading for both. And that's going to be where I have that purple S down there in the bottom little tiny section. That is your solution. So make sure when you do this, you put the letter S over your solution so we can easily see where your solution is. Okay, so this is your assignment. You're going to go through and you're going to do all of these questions, numbers 1 through 8. Okay, so all of these questions are already in slope-intercept form. The variable is all by itself, except for numbers 7 and 8. You need to fix either one or both of these here. So let's go through and do number 8 together. I'm going to go through and explain number 8. So for number 8, here's my first one here. I'm going to rewrite it. It says 3x plus 2y greater than or equal to -2. I just rewrote it so I can see it a little bit better and I can fix it, and I need to get the y all by itself. So first I'm going to move this term with the x. I'm going to move this +3x to the other side. So I'm going to do the opposite, -3x on both sides. So these cancel out, and then I'm left with 2y. I bring down my symbol. And then we have a -2 and a -3x. They cannot be combined, so I'm going to put them side by side. First is the -3x, then the -2. And then we need to do one more step. We need to get rid of the 2 that's touching the y. You read that as 2 times y. So I'm going to do the opposite, divide by 2, divide by 2. So those 2's cancel out. I bring down the variable y, and we do not flip the inequality sign. It stays the same, because the only time you flip it is if you multiply or divide by a negative number. That 2 is positive, so it stays the same. And then we can start simplifying if we can. This -3 divided by a +2, I cannot simplify anymore, so I'm just going to keep it the same, -3/2, bring down the x. And then this -2 divided by a +2, yes, we can simplify that. Negative divided by a positive is negative. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So here is this one here. Y is greater than or equal to -3/2, x minus 1. Then you can write your m equals and your b equals. Okay. So m is the number in front of x. This one is -3/2. B is the number after x, so that's -1. Now let's graph it. The first thing we put on our graph is b, the y-intercept, which is -1. That goes on the y-axis. So here's my y-intercept of -1. And then I'm going to use my slope, -3/2. Rise over run, it's negative, so I'm going to go down 3 to the right 2. And then if you run out of space, go back and do the opposite. The opposite of down and to the right is up and to the left. So up 3 to the left 2, up 3 to the left 2. Okay, then we can look at our symbol. It's the greater than or equal to symbol. You have extra ink for the sign, so you need to have extra ink for the line, a solid line going through here, solid line, solid line. And then we're going to do our shading. It's greater than or equal to, so you're going to shade above. So I like to put my pencil anywhere on that line, draw an arrow going up, and that's going to help me figure out what is everything above. So then I'm going to do all my shading above. Okay, now let's go ahead and do our other one here. This, I'm going to rewrite it here, x plus 2y less than or equal to 2. I just rewrote it so we can see it a little bit better here, and I'm going to rearrange this. So we want to get the y all by itself, just like the last one. First, we're going to move this positive x to the other side, so I'm going to do the opposite. Minus x on both sides, so these cancel out. I bring down the 2y, my inequality symbol, and then I need to put these side by side since we cannot combine them. First is the negative x, then the positive 2. Then we're getting rid of this 2. You read that as 2 times y, so I'm going to do the opposite, divide by 2. On both sides, then we get our y. We divided by a positive number, so since that number is positive 2, we do not flip the sign, it stays the same. And then we can do our simplifying. There's an invisible 1 in front of that x. Negative 1 divided by 2, we can't simplify anymore, so you just rewrite it. Bring down the x, and then we have a positive 2 divided by a positive 2 is positive 1. So here's your other one. You can write your m equals b equals, m is that fraction, negative 1 over 2, and b is positive 1. Now let's graph it. So first we put on the graph our y-intercept b, and for this one it's positive 1. So here's my y-intercept of positive 1, and then we can use our slope m. It's negative 1 over 2. Rise over run, but it's negative, so I go down 1 to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2, keep going till you run out of space, and then go back and do the opposite. The opposite of down and to the right is up and to the left, so up 1 to the left 2, up 1 to the left 2. And then we have our symbol, it's the less than or equal to symbol. So less than or equal to, we have extra ink for the sign. So extra ink for the line. I'm going to have a solid line going through all these points. And since it's less than or equal to, we're going to shade everything below. We're going to shade everything below. That's everything under the line. And then let's find our solution here. Our solution is where the two colors are intersecting, or where they're the section where we have the two colors. And you can see in this whole section here, we have the red and the blue. So this is our solution. I'm going to put a nice big bold S so we can easily find our solution nice and quick. Okay, so that was number 8. I went through and did all of number 8 with you guys. Number 7, I just want to help you guys out. Let's get number 7 started. Number 7. So this first inequality for number 7, this 4x plus y is less than 2. You need to get the y all by itself. So you need to move that 4x to the other side first. It's a positive 4x. You're going to do the opposite. Minus 4x on both sides. So then you have y is less than negative 4x plus 2. This is what you're going to be graphing. You can write your m equals b equals. M is negative 4, b is positive 2. You're graphing this one. Then you need to figure out what kind of line. If it's less than, you have less ink for the sign, so less ink for the line. You're going to have a dashed line, and then you shade below. Okay, dashed line, shade below. This other one here, we only have one variable. This y is greater than negative 2. Okay, so if you only have one variable, it's either going to be a vertical line or horizontal line. It's either going to go side to side or up and down. But this one, it's the variable y. The variable y is all by itself, so you're going to look on the y-axis, and we're going to put a dot on the -2, on the -2. Okay? And then we're going to draw our line. If you have a dot on the y-axis and it's only one variable, you're going to draw a horizontal line, side to side, left to right. But before you do that, let's check and see what kind of line am I going to draw. If we have just the greater than symbol, it's less ink for the sign. So we have less ink for the line. I'm going to draw a dashed line going through this point. Dashed line, and then it's greater than, so I'm going to shade everything above, shading everything above that line for your solution for the second inequality. All you need to do for number 7 is finish graphing the stuff here in blue, and then you can identify your solution. Just make sure you put that big bold S like we did for number 8 so we can easily see your solution. And then that is it. So for this assignment today, you're going to go through and you're going to do all of those questions, numbers 1 through 8. You're doing all of them, even the ones we did together as a group. Once you're finished, you can submit that picture on Schoology, and then we'll have another meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. And hopefully my sound works a little bit better there tomorrow. But if you have any questions, just send me a message. I can help you guys out with this. We can do a one-on-one Teams meeting, or maybe we can just send messages. Whatever works for you, but go ahead and just work on this assignment, and that is it for today.